Hi everyone and welcome to another Vlogmas day video. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make little felt ornaments. So in today's video I'm going to show you how to make these little ornaments using felt, some buttons and ribbons. A disclaimer again, everything is linked in the description down below, and there can be affiliate links and more about that in the description. However, I just wanted to show you this poor guy has already gotten a little bit janky, and that is because Gizmo found him tonight and he has claimed it as his own. Wherever I put him, Gizmo finds him and like, I'm gonna play with him. So now that I have recorded this clip, he's getting it as a toy. But yeah, let's head down to the table and start crafting.
Let's start with pictures of Gizmo. I know this is not a table, but Gizmo is super cute, and I really wanted to share him playing with his little ornament. I only gave him the gingerbread cookie ornament because the other one has buttons and I don't want him to swallow those little buttons. And this is just plain felt, and that is nothing dangerous. So then he could play with it, just like with a 5-year-old or a small child. Don't give them the small things that they can swallow. It's not a good thing. So, or can get stuck in their throat. So I kind of treat Gizmo as my 5-year-old because he is. Like, yeah, he's a cat, but he's cute. Anyhow, let's start with the ornaments. So I have some templates here. I cut them out on my silhouette. They are by Bug Designs and they're from the Silhouette store. They're supposed to be for paper piecing, but I thought they would work awesomely to make these little felt ornaments. I also bought a package of felt, like just plain felt. There are a whole bunch of colors, which means I can make so many ornaments. I just don't have time right now, so hopefully I can make them throughout the year. I don't know. I also have some DMC thread in different colors because I really like that little bit of a thicker thread when I sew on the felt. And then I have some ribbon. I probably should have had another color of ribbon, like white or red or something. However, I forgot to pick it up when I was at the store, and black was the only I had at home, so black it was. I'm using a little white watercolor pencil to trace my template onto my felt, and then I'm using safety pins to hold the felt together to make it easy to cut these. I have folded the felt in two, or folded it over, so that I can get two pieces at the same time and they will look the same. And I did kind of turn it inside out here so that the white from the pencil isn't shown on the ornament. I used these little circles. I think those circles was actually made for the wreath, but I felt that they were the perfect size for his eyes. I did the same with the little, like, I made little white buttons on his ornament, or on his breast, and I made them white and cut those out. And then I also going to add some cheeks to him, so he's a little bit cheeky, you know. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm using a little bit of white glue, like the tiniest of white glue that you can use to hold those pieces down while I'm stitching. And if you use just tiny amount, it will stick really good for the sewing. However, it will not stick permanently. If you not want to sew, you could use like fabric glue, but you have to make sure to not use too much because the felt is very porous, so the glue can very easily go through the fabric and look a little bit strange. You will see the glue through it when it has dried. However, that was not the case with this little amount of white glue, and it's just to holding the pieces down while I stitch. I used a just blank white thread for the little buttons. I'm using a pink 3806 maybe. You probably see that better than me from here. And then I sewed around the cheeks with that little pink thread. I used just plain black 310 around his eyes and also for his mouth. So that I started with one eye, and then I fastened the thread, and then I made the other eye, and then I just used the thread from that eye to get the little mouth done. Just a teeny tiny mouth, you know, teeny tiny. And I finished it off with some white thread. I made some French knots to give him that little highlight at his eyes, but you could really just use like a white gel pen or a acrylic paint pen like the Posca pens to add that highlight, so you don't have to make the French knot if that is something you don't want to do. Then I layer the two pieces of the gingerbread man together, and instead of doing the lattice stitch, I think it's called, or blanket stitch around, which I did around the circles around his eyes, I'm just doing a back and forth seam around him. I wouldn't recommend going back and forth. I would recommend just doing plain proper back stitches. They will look a little bit strange on the back side, but they are easier to get even. These stitches didn't get very even, but I really like it. I did thread, remember, I almost forgot to put that little hanger in, but I could thread it in with a needle and then knot it, and that knot will hold it in place. Then I use some polyfill just to fill him up, to give him a little bit of that squishiness. That's kind of the nice thing about doing these kind of ornaments, felt ornament, that you can fill them up with polyfill and make them all round and squishy and cute. And then I finished off by just going back and filling in between those little lines. I think in hindsight it looked better with just the every other seam, so I might just leave it like this. With the every other seam, it looked pretty good and the polyfill wouldn't fall out, but I did go back and forth and fill it completely, and that white seam kind of represents all of the white sugar that you add onto it, like the little edges, the decoration that you add on a gingerbread cookie, and I kind of thought it looked pretty good. Yeah. By the way, all of the clips in today's video are sped up by about 800%, so 8 times. So if it looks like it's going very fast, it didn't. It took me about 2.5 hours. I cut it down from 2.5 hours. So yeah, it wasn't very speedy making these, but they were very, very fun. I was super excited because it was very creative just putting them together, and it's very, very calming to stitching. I think I'm finding my creative bug again, just making it for fun. I did record it, but these were for fun. These weren't for making a video. It was just I wanted to make felt ornaments. Then I'm going to do my second felt ornament. This is going to be my green wreath, and I do the same as I did with the gingerbread man. I add these little safety pins to hold the folded fabric together. I then use a pencil. In this case I used a red pencil because the white didn't show up very well on this fabric, and that is just a easy erase or erase pencil, colored pencil, by Prismacolors. And then I cut it out. This is a little bit harder to cut out, but it was fun still. It's not perfect. None of these are perfect, and I think that's also a part of the fun part of making these. They don't need to be perfect. They just you can play with it and make ornaments. I don't know. I had so much fun making these. So again, I'm going to do the same as I did with the other one. I'm just going to turn it inside out. And then I was supposed to have a little felt bow, but I decided to use a ribbon bow. And here's a tip. If you have a colored pencil case, you can remove a couple of pencil and then you can make a little bow across that. It's super easy, just pull it around and make a knot, and there you have a bow. Easiest way to make a bow ever. However, I should have done a double knot with this ribbon. It's a little bit slick, so it really wants the knot to go up. So I'm adding a little bit of glue inside the ribbon just to make it stick together a little bit, so that it doesn't what's it called? Unknot itself. That's the word. And then I remembered I had these little buttons. I picked up this bag for like nothing for a very long time ago because I had an idea that I wanted to use them for, and I never did. I wanted to make mini needle cushions, pin cushions, and have this like the anchor. Never used it. However, they are very cute and they worked perfect with those greens and reds for this little ornament. I picked out 2 different colors of thread again, one green and one red. Just random ones, like I'm not matching perfectly. Like here you can see the green that I'm stitching with is closer to the ornament than to the button, but I felt it didn't matter. And then I just went through with the green and the red and stitched the button down. I did glue them down with the glue again, because otherwise it's hard to see where they were supposed to be. And also it helps them stick down a little bit better than they did before. And then I sew on the bow. This was a little bit harder. It ended up being a little bit crooked. But again, it's an ornament. It doesn't have to be perfect. To finish it off, I'm just layering these together using some, I put back some safety pins just to hold them in place. Makes it easier to sew. And again, I'm using just not a running stitch. On the gingerbread man, it was a running stitch. And this is a back stitch. So on the back side, it will have longer overlapping stitch, while on the front side, it has these shorter stitches. It's so much easier to stitch that way. And the back side doesn't have to be perfect. I do fasten the thread on the inside because I ended up having the teeniest, tiniest ends. I played thread chicken. That's the word. Thread chicken with that thread. This time I do remember to put the ribbon in, or make the ribbon before I start stitching. I'm going to stitch that ribbon in putting it in as I stitch. I started a little bit further away just to make it easier on myself than where the ribbon was, and then I just continue stitching. And I'm just freehanding this. You could draw on the back side to make a perfect circle and follow that one or something like that. But I'm just freehanding. Like I said, it's just an ornament. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that in this video, but yeah. With this little one, I kind of fill as I go because it is round. I felt that maybe it would be a little bit harder to fill if I just had a teeny tiny opening at the end. And I fill this really thickly, so it's really, really hard, and I really like how puffy it ended up being. And then I just continue stitch a little bit and fill a little bit and stitch a little bit and fill a little bit. And in the end, it ends up being a awesome little green ornament. Yeah, it was so much fun making these. I think it's important find things that make you happy. Like I was thinking about making these for days before I made them, because I was working. I didn't have time to make them until a couple of days later, and like it made that excitement even more. Like I just wanted to make ornaments, and when I had finished these, I was a little bit sad that I didn't have time to make more. But yeah, When I have filled up with the polyfill, I make sure to pinch it really hard so that the polyfill doesn't fall out while I'm stitching. And then that is done. Yeah, I did a little boo-boo there and didn't catch that I missed a little bit. So I just made some stitches and filled it together. And you can't really see that I made a little boo-boo. Yeah, this is the ornament that we finished. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you tomorrow for more. If you like this video, please thumbs it up. If you want to see more and isn't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, maybe even the notification button. I post videos every day at 4 p.m. all through December.